Hi, thank you for tuning in. This is going to be a commentary over a game I had in my Des Moines at a random battle. We're going to talk about the decision-making process throughout this game and things I think I could have done better. And we're also going to talk about why I positioned myself in the way I did, why I picked targets that I did, and we're going to see how that could have affected the outcome of the game. Alright, so for starters, if you don't know, Des Moines is the Tier 10 heavy American cruiser. Des Moines has uh, two sets of turrets in the front, one set in the back. So a common strategy is to post up at an island, using it for cover, and just firing the front two turrets. Um, that is what we're going to do heavily here. It has a very fast reload, so it will be very high damage per minute. We're going to be trying to both set fires and fire armor piercing rounds at broadsides. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. As I pick my island, I'm going to set up. So this will give me cover from the other side of D, but it will not give me cover to the big island between C and D. So we're going to see how this goes. I see the curve first, I'm starting to look at him, and then I see the Seattle, so I'm going to switch over to AP, fire a couple salvos to try to keep him honest, and then I will pivot back to the curve first momentarily. And I'm just going to start farming this curve first, watching out for the Monarch as well. So as a Des Moines, I have decent armor in my my bow, so we are going to try to tank a couple of shots coming from the battleships. Something to keep in mind is this curve first is a German battleship, so you know that they want to get in close and get their secondaries involved. So it's important to watch out to the range that you are, that you don't get within secondary range. Uh, Less than 13 kilometers is typically where you want to avoid being against a German battleship. And you also are going to notice that there's an Awami on the left that we want to avoid. The Monarch is going out of range of shooting us, which is good for us, but the Lexington is coming in with planes. Luckily, my brother in the Tromp not only is taking the attention of the Lexington, but also has very good AA as a Dutch destroyer. So we're just going to keep farming this curve first and try to avoid getting out-farmed by him. As you can see, there's 3 fires burning, but I am now going to start taking fire from the Seattle, who is firing from behind the island. So what we're going to do here is try to back up as far as we can, and then I am going to try to turn around when I get a chance. So you'll see I have 2 fires on me, and I wait too long to damage control, in my opinion. I could have damage controlled as soon as I had the second fire and saved myself some hit points. But regardless, the Kerfers is going to go away. He's going to get unspotted. He has 3 fires burning. I'm going to be lucky and get the kill on him from the fire. But right now, this is a perfect time to turn around. The Seattle's going to continue to fire on me until he stops getting hits, which is understandable. So I have to get out of there. If I had the Legendary Research Bureau upgrade for the Des Moines, as I get the kill on the Kerfers, I would already be out of here. So that's definitely worth considering for moments like this when you just need to get out. And now you're going to see our radar. Now the reasoning behind this radar was partially to take attention away from myself. It was partially to check and make sure that the Holland was not coming up the 9-10 flank. And it was also to give the Brest and the Duncan, as well as my brother in the Tromp, a target to shoot at. Now I'm not going to be able to use this radar at all, so it's not the best use of radar, but we are going to get some shots off on the Holland, so it's not wasted. So that's good. But you do see that the Holland's firing a good amount of torps, as Holland does, and my brother in the Tromp, he is starting to take some damage, so we're going to have to do something about that. So I'm going to start firing on this Buffalo, because that's who I can see. And my next priority is going to be protecting my brother. So I'm going to start trying to prioritize targets that will either spot him or do the most damage to him. So mostly cruisers, and if the Holland gets spotted, we're going to fire at the Holland. But the Holland does a decent job this game of staying undetected. So unfortunately, we're mostly going to be firing at cruisers, not going to have a whole lot of opportunity to fire at the Holland. When the Holland does get spotted in the rest of this game, it's mostly going to be for only a couple seconds, and I'm already focused on somebody else. So we'll notice that the Seattle is firing on me again, and I need to be extremely careful here because I'm a minute away from my next heal. I do have my damage control, which is nice, but I still need to survive. I don't want to get set on fire, use my damage control, then get set on fire again. So it's really important that I stay healthy and get undetected. I'm going to take 2 fires here and instantly repair it, and I'll finally fall off detection. So that's nice. Now I can wait out my heal. Unfortunately, the original 28 is low HP. He does not have a heal to use, so he's stuck there the rest of the game. But now we're going to reassess, trying to find a new island to post up at, which is going to be the one at where the Duncan and the Breast are, around D7. I'm going to wait on this Buffalo because I'm low and I still don't want to get shot at yet, but luckily he's going to get nuked and I'm just going to come out and get greedy and steal the kill. This was fully unnecessary for me to fire, but, you know, kill steal's got to happen. Kill's a kill. And now the Duncan, you may notice, is making a very questionable decision to push in with the whole team waiting behind. They have control of D. They have a crossfire on him. They have the Holland sending torps. And I don't think there is any particular reason why the Duncan is doing this, other than him maybe thinking that we're going to follow him in. Even if we followed him in, there's a good chance we all die because they have a really nice crossfire. They have the Holland with torps. They have the Seattle and the Minotaur. And they have 4 battleships on this flank. You'll see the Louisiana, the Iwami, the Monarch, and the Massachusetts B. All of them are problems. And let alone the Seattle Minotaur and the Holland. So, luckily the Seattle's going to die from the Bourgogne on the other side of the map. But the Duncan is just going to throw his life away, which is unfortunate because we really could have used his help dealing with this Minotaur. As you can see, the Minotaur is firing his shots. He's going to be farming as hard as I am. He has a similar game plan to me. But you see the Minotaur, you might expect to be smoking up and firing from smoke. But as you can see, I did not notice him smoke once this whole match. And he's also using island cover, so that would lead you to believe that he's a radar Minotaur, because they do have the choice between radar and a smoke. Now I don't want to be spotted for too long because I still have to heal here. I'm going to be out of heals very early into the match. I guess this isn't very early into the match, but with the number of engagements that I have left to take if I want to win this game, it's still pretty early. So we're going to use our last heal right here, and we're just going to be stuck with this health the rest of the game. So basically right now our targeting priority is going to be the Minotaur, followed by any battleships that get spotted while the Minotaur is not spotted. Now the Holland, we can see, has gone now up the 9 line, which we can keep in mind, but is not going to play a huge role. So we don't really have to focus on the Holland. We want these battleships down so that they can't ruin our cruisers, which is me and the Breast. So I'm just going to start farming at this Massachusetts B. And now what you may notice is the Iwami steaming to the east from Route F6 right now. He's going to come into view. He's going to become a high priority very soon because Japanese battleships typically can overmatch. So it's going to be very important that we watch out where he is and to see if he takes any shots at us. So we are going to be watching out for the Massachusetts because he fires a salvo at us, but it's not going to do anything. Unfortunate for him. I get the fire there, and I do believe we're going to get this kill after the Massachusetts goes undetected. But now our party focuses on the Iwami. And I will get the kill on the Massachusetts here in a second, which will be lucky that I get the kill from the fire. But right now the Iwami is going to be our priority unless the Minotaur is spotted. So we're going to be firing at the Minotaur as soon as he's spotted, but otherwise it's going to be the Iwami. Because we don't want the Iwami to get a broadside shot on us. And you'll see that I am getting farmed a little bit by the Minotaur, but he's kind of missing a shot, so it's not a huge deal. So since the island is blocking me from the Minotaur, I actually could have been firing at the Minotaur, but in this moment, I'm kind of panicking, and I think that the island's going to block my shot from the Minotaur, so I'm not taking the shot on the Minotaur. Instead, I'm going to move forward and get back to the island, as I do take a couple more shots at the Minotaur as I realize I can shoot him. And I'm going to try to position myself to make sure that I don't get spotted again, because I am very scared of the Iwami right now. You also notice the Louisiana is not far, and he can send planes in to spot me as well. And the Lexington has torpedo planes, so I do also have to be wary of those. Now I have to pivot to the Holland, because the Holland's trying to farm me over the island, and I just need to scare him off and make sure he's not going to attack me. Which I do successfully scare him off, keep him from shooting at me for too long. I dodge his torps, and luckily have spotted them for the North Carolina behind me as well. I believe the North Carolina still gets hit by them because he is sitting still broadside and there's nothing he can really do there. So I'm going to take some shots at Louisiana. Just kind of courtesy shots, really. And I'm going to move to the Minotaur as soon as I can, because I really want this Minotaur to die. Not just for my sake, but for the sake of my battleships, because I want them to fire freely. And the Minotaur is definitely, you don't want to see that rain of armor-piercing shells coming your way. So here I'm finally going to get a good hit on the Minotaur and get a couple citadels, and someone else will finish him off. I believe it's the Amagi that will finish him off. As I get 2 citadels, and he gets finished off by the Amagi. That's huge for us. Now the Iwami and Louisiana are very far away from any caps that need to be contested. We're not going to contest D because they have all their presence there, so we're going to move towards C. Now at this point, what should happen is the Schlieffen and Amagi should wait for me to radar the Holland or Kitakaze, but you can see the Schlieffen is moving in, which you can't really blame a Schlieffen for wanting to brawl, but it's 2 destroyers, they're going to have torps, and we're going to see here that he is going to be killed by the Holland's torps. Which is really unfortunate because we could have used him later in the battle as well. But he gets his torps out, but he's going to die to these torps. And now's where I start making some mistakes. So, mistake number 1 isn't really, I wouldn't call this my fault. I radar here to get the Holland, but the Holland, almost immediately after I radar him, gets killed by the torps from the Schlieffen. So, what I could have done instead, if I knew that was going to happen, was I could have saved my radar. So here I go, I radar, I get my first salvo off, I think, oh, this is going to be such an easy kill, and then he dies immediately. So what could have happened, you see the Kitakaze was moving in towards C. So if I knew the Holland would die to those torps, I could have held my radar and waited for the Kitakaze to get on the cap, and then I could have melted him as he was already low. So now I make my biggest mistake of the game by continuing to push forward, because the Iwami now is going to start moving in, and the Kitakaze is smart enough to know that there's a Des Moines that has radar and hydro pushing in the cap. Now I realize my mistake here and I start to turn around, because I know that the planes can spot me if the destroyer can't, and that the Iwami can fire on me, which is very dangerous. So I'm going to start running away, take a couple of courtesy shots at the Iwami, just trying to set him fire and run. I will successfully get the fire, but now I have to dodge the Lexington dive bombers if I can. I get lucky, 1 hit, 1 fire, and I'm going to just be swerving, hoping that he doesn't kill me. As I take dive bombers from both the Louisiana and the Lexington here. I'm just kiting, hoping for the best. I get the Witherer achievement, that's nice. I'm gonna get hit by 1 shell, that's probably an overpen there. And now I have to watch out for the island, and here's my next big mistake, is if I am not panicking here, I'll realize that I can just go the long way around these rocks and be fine. But instead, I think it's a brilliant idea in the moment to go between the rocks and the island. And what that's gonna do is force me to be broadside to the Iwami, which is, I'm going to realize that this is a bad idea almost immediately, because not only am I going to be broadside to the Iwami, but I'm going to be beached broadside to the Iwami. Now, I get extremely lucky here, because me getting beached actually saves my life, and you will see, as I get beached, and I start moving forward again, the Iwami's going to fire his shot, and I'm going to get beached again. But this second beaching saves my life, temporarily. The Iwami misses his shots, but the Louisiana is going to get a free drop on me. And I'm going to lose about 10,000 health to this drop here. Fully deserved. Double fire. Repair that. And I'm just going to... I take another hit from the Iwami, so I'm down to 1500 HP. And at this point, I should be playing the game super passive. I'm going to radar here for the Amagi in the breast because I see that the Kitakaze is on the cap. I'm just going to pray that they killed the Kitakaze. And if they don't, what I should have done is played slow and passive and waited for the Kitakaze to get back on the cap and then tried to maybe get in and hydro him so that he has to get off again. But instead, I watched these shots go by and miss, and I'm very sad. More shots, that's from the breast, those miss as well. So instead of playing passive, I make my final mistake of the match and pull out and turn to attack the Kitakaze. So I'm going to fire shots here for no reason in particular, just because he's falling off detection. Go straight to the mountain, obviously. And now I'm hard spotted. So really, what was the play here? Except to die. Because the Kitakaze can just pick his moment and kill me, which he will do. But otherwise, I feel like this was a pretty good game. We did 252,000 damage by the time I get killed by the Kitakaze here. And yeah, 252,000 damage, 1.6 million potential damage, which is actually pretty low. 58,000 spotting, which is decent for a cruiser. Not great, but decent. We're gonna get high caliber Witherer and first blood achievements. 3 kills, 2 citadels, 10 fires, 293 main battery hits. Not a bad game. The things I could have done better didn't end up impacting the game, but they could have. If my Amagi gets torped by the Kitakaze, for example, and the breast makes a bad play, we could see the Kitakaze capping C and then moving to A or B to get the cap, and our Fletcher is way out of position. He could maybe torp the Lexington, but their Iwami can also kill the breast or the Amagi. We just get lucky. That doesn't happen. We end up winning the game. But anyways, this was my first time doing a commentary video like this. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you want to see more of this. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.